Hi, welcome to Hopped Up on Security. This is a show where we talk a little bit about beer and a lot about security. Today we're coming to you from Tel Aviv, Israel, and I'm joined by Ido Freisler, Head of Engineering at Adalon. Welcome, Ido.
Great to be here.
So we're going to talk about discovery and shadow IT and some of the challenges that customers have as they're trying to assess really the risk in cloud applications. But first, I want to try a beer.
Of course.
So we have an Israeli beer from Negev Brewery. It's actually an oak porter. It should be pretty interesting, so I'm going to pour you a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a nice kind of dark beer porter. It should be a little bit oaky. So I think they probably age these in oak barrels. So let's give it a shot. Smell it a little bit.
It's good.
It's nice, yeah. Really nice mouthfeel, a little kind of carbonated, kind of light, but nice porter flavor, a little bit of chocolate. I'm not sure if I'm getting the oak quite yet.
It's actually kind of sweet.
Yeah, it has a little bit of sweetness to it. Yeah, it's quite nice. I mean, I can even, it's dark, but I think a lot of people are afraid of dark beers, but
right, because like Guinness and stuff are very bitter.
Yeah.
This one.
It's nice and sweet and actually pretty drinkable. So maybe this is your new favorite beer. Who knows? Well, let's talk about discovering. Let's talk about shadow IT. So, I know there's a lot of customers that are just getting started with the cloud. They're just getting started thinking about the security concerns. What part does discovery play in this whole process for customers?
So. Most CISOs, most security administrators, they know a couple of applications that they sanction, that they bought, and they're monitoring around their organization.
Right.
But there are thousands of other applications that are used throughout the organizations that they don't know of.
So users can, for example, bring any application into the organization.
Exactly. So, for example, I might have my personal Dropbox.
Right.
Was not registered to the organization. It's my private account, and I can still upload data from the company to this Dropbox account.
Yeah, potentially very easily, and it's a huge risk for companies.
Exactly.
Right?
As opposed to the sanctioned apps that the security administrator monitors and can govern. These thousands of other apps, the unknown apps, pose even a greater risk.
We don't know how they're being used. We don't know the quality of the application. We don't know where the data is being stored.
Because if you don't know about it, so how can you protect from it?
Right. So how does discovery help in this situation? I mean, so what's the process of discovery? Maybe you can walk me through a little bit of that.
Discovery is exactly the process of identifying and revealing those unknown apps, those thousands of apps that are used in your organization without you knowing about them.
So discovery, I guess, at the very surface tells you what apps are being used, but there's a lot more to it as you're starting to. It's one thing to know what apps are being used, but then you want to start to assess the risk in your organization. So how does discovery help you assess that risk?
Yeah. So once you know what apps are being used, what you want to know is, first of all, how risky is each of the apps.
Okay.
So if I discovered some new file storage application, I would want to know how secure it is. For example, does it use encryption? Does it separate between different tenants' data?
Yeah.
I would also like to know which company is it?
Yeah.
Like a new company, like a suspicious company coming from somewhere in the world.
Maybe a region that maybe is untrusted, or it's
exactly.
a region where I don't know the laws around data retention or something like that, right?
Exactly. And also, I would like to know what certifications does it comply with?
Right.
Because some organizations have certain regulations they need to follow regarding those certifications. So I have to know if it's used in my organization, what does it comply with.
So I'm thinking, maybe in some industries like financial services or healthcare, for example, I'm really concerned with something like HIPAA. I want to make sure that whatever service that I'm using, that my users are using, it complies with the HIPAA regulations as well. It helps me with my compliance requirements.
Exactly.
So, I guess assessing that risk on a per application basis, especially if you're talking about hundreds or thousands of applications, can be a huge challenge. So what's something that a solution like Adalon does to help to alleviate that challenge? How does Adalon?
So what you do next once you discover those applications is you try and realize which users are using which applications, when are they using it, if for example, someone is using it outside of business hours, or if you suddenly discover like a user that's uploading a whole bunch of data that he's not supposed to, or a whole department that you think is blocked from doing certain stuff, is actually figured out a way to bypass that.
Right.
So yeah, so that's what you get this profile of each application and how it's being used, and then you can dig deeper and find out what it's about.
So I guess as you assess risk, you're considering at the service level, you know, where, like you said, where the company is, I guess the viability of the company. I was thinking the security mechanisms that are being used, as well as the certifications that they have in place. But you also want to understand how much it's being used by who, you know, I guess usage patterns as well. So those two things, or those two major categories, at the service level and at the user level, really help you to assess overall risk. And you know, the goal, I think, is to assess those or identify those applications that are interesting in my organization that maybe solve a use case. I want to work towards sanctioning those applications.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. So what you want to do once you discover those applications and identify the patterns is you want to take this bunch of unsanctioned apps and you want to decide which of them are risky and I want to block them in the firewall and the gateway, and which are I want to embrace into my organization and I want to sanction. Yeah. I want to, for example, take a CASB solution and start monitor them in a much deeper level. I want to apply policies. I want to govern those applications. Right. And also there are like those other benign apps that I don't want to block, but they're harmless. I mean,
yeah, maybe they pose a very low security risk, or the usage is low.
Because there's like limits to the number of applications you can monitor.
That's right. But so the goal then with discovery is not really to get to a point where we're blocking all applications, but more understanding the, I guess, the security or the usage landscape or the app landscape in the organization, so that we can categorize and hopefully sanction some of those apps and address use cases for our customers, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of customers wonder if discovery is a one-time thing. Do I do discovery once and I'm done, or is it kind of an ongoing process?
Yeah, so you can do a one-time discovery. It's possible, and you can detect certain anomalies and certain behaviors in your organizations by doing that once. But you want to do this continuously, because once you do it continuously, you can detect changes in the behavior. You can detect anomalies that are suddenly happening. You can see a change of usage, applications being embraced and starting to be used by more and more users. Yeah. Also, you can have like an automated anomaly detection without your involvement. I mean, once you have the data for a long period of time, you can start and see anomalies in this. So
you can automate this whole process by really integrating discovery into the
so what you'd want to do is you want to take the discovery solution and integrate that into your firewall, into your gateway or proxy, and flow the data all the time to the discovery solution.
Sounds good. Well, Ido, thank you very much for joining us today. It's great talking to you about discovery and shadow IT. Let's take one more sip of beer. Cheers. Sure. Or l'chaim.
L'chaim, yeah.
Yeah, great beer. Well, thanks for joining us today. I hope you learned a little bit of something around how Adallom can help you secure your applications, starting with discovery, starting with helping to solve that shadow IT problem. If you want to learn more about how Adallom can help you, please visit www.adallom.com.